عاشق کربلاتم تا آخرش باهاتم، تو همونی که میخوای دلیل گریه هامی تا آخرش باهامی.
اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم وأولئك هم المهتدون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. والله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك وأولئك هم المهتدون. الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. محمد عليه السلام.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Tonight is the last night in this series of majalis. I was informed that tonight is the last. My understanding was I would have one more opportunity to close out this subject, as tonight there's really no room to talk about anything except the musibah and Shaam Ghareeban, which is tonight. And this is a very difficult time for the family of Imam Hussain. But because I won't have another opportunity, I will take about 10 to 12 and 15 minutes initially so that I can wrap up the discussion that I had started yesterday. And inshallah, we will have the masaib and the musibat of Shaam Ghareeban. I recited this ayat from Surah Al Imran, ayat number 85, in which Allah says, should anyone follow a religion other than Islam, it shall never be accepted from him, and he will be amongst the losers in the hereafter. When we discuss Islam and when we discuss Deen, we understand that Islam, when it comes to our understanding, it has made our choice very clear. And we are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we're thankful that He gave us birth in the families who introduced us with this Deen Mubin Islam, and especially that they introduced us with this madhab, which is madhab at-tashayyu'. If you look at it from the sermons of Imam Hussain and the messages of Ashura, that was the discussion for the last past 10 nights. Imam, when he was in Mina, in the presence of a huge gathering of Muslims, about the conditions of society and their duties, Imam said, Inna dunya qad taghayyarat. Indeed, the world has changed. Inna al-haqqa la yu'malu bih. Indeed, haqq is not being followed. Wa inna al-batila la yatanaha anhu. And as far as batil is concerned, there are not enough people who are stopping and making it forbidden and not doing their duty to stop it. So the question is how important this deen is. That for this deen, Abul Fazl Abbas says, Wallahi in qata'tum yamini, inni uhami abadan an dini. That if you even cut off my hands, I will still continue to protect and defend this deen. So what is deen? How much is it worth that all the prophets and imams, they're willing to sacrifice themselves for it? What service has deen, madhab, has done to mankind? How beneficial is it for the society? And lastly, what are our duties towards it? First, we need to understand this deen. I know I don't have a great deal of time, and inshallah I'll try and wrap it up in half hour. That in lughat, it means reward, compensation. It means obedience, ita'at. It means following. But در اصطلاح معنی دین فرق میکنه. مجموعه عقاید، قوانین، وظایف، امر و نهی، آداب که به سعادت ابدی برسانند. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna deena in the Allah al-Islam. Deen which officially Allah recognizes as Islam. So when we understand that this deen is a way of life, it governs our smallest of the affairs to the most complicated ones. It tells us everything about us. From the smallest of the things to the most difficult, deen has said something about it. Therefore, this deen is not silent when it comes to, for example, the qawaneen and the rules and the laws of, marriage, divorce, inheritance. This deen says something about it. So what is our duty? That was the promise last night, and I will get right into it. What is our duty? First and foremost, our duty, and I want, if my youngsters are listening, to take notes. Because a lot of time we hear things and we don't retain it, we forget it. But tonight I will give you 5 points, and I want you to write these 5 points down. Of course, if the speech is being recorded, then you can of course get it from there as well. But still, if you can write it down, that will be something which is promising. So that way I will know that you are paying attention. That proper and thorough recognition of deen, that is the first and foremost duty. Number one is ma'rifat deen. Amir al-Mu'mineen in that khutbah awwal Nahj al-Balagha چی میگه؟ ایشون میگویند اول الدین معرفته. The first and the foremost in reference to this deen, your duty is what? معرفت of this deen. You should recognize this deen. For everything برای همه چیز امادی هست. ستون داره. لكل شيء اماد و عماد الدین الفقه. For everything there's a sutun, there's a pillar. For deen, the fiqh is the pillar of it. But if our recognition is very basic, then we will be driven by the forces that are around us, moved by the winds, whichever direction it takes us. Because a lot of time people who are brought into the religion, the same way they're brought in by influence, they leave this religion because someone is influencing them. Hadith of Prophet says, Man dakhala fi hadha ad-deen bir-rijal akhrajahu minhu ar-rijal. Whoever comes into this deen due to the influence of certain people, kama adkhuluhu fihi, the way they have entered him into it, وَمَنْ دَخَلَ فِيهِ بِالْكِتَابِ وَالسُّنَّةِ. But those who have brought him in, he will exit it because of them as well. But if a person enters this deen with kitab, with sunnat, Kitab yani Quran. Sunnat yani Sunnat Rasul. زالت الجبال قبل أن يزول. The mountain will move from its place, but this person will not move from its place. So if deen and iman is due to following someone, it is possible that you may not be able to survive in it. Therefore, you need to do your own research about it. Yes, taqleed is in furu'edin. In usul-edin, there's no taqleed. You need to do your own understanding, having your own understanding and your own ma'rifat and your own recognition. I won't go more in details. There's so much to talk about in this, but I'll skip because of the time constraints. Number two, taslim kamil in front of ahkam din. Those ahkam which you are now, you have the ma'rifat, you have the belief. Now it's not just having the ma'rifat of something, but it also completely believing in it. You can't say, well, I believe in something, but I don't follow it. That means you don't really believe it. I believe that there is God. قبول دارم که خدا هست ولی معصیت میکنم. این قبول داشتن چه فایده داره؟ When you say that I believe that there is God, but you still commit sins, which is disobeying God, then of course there's what? Contradiction in your belief. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, "Ad-deenu shajaratun asluha at-taslim wal-rida." Deen مانند یه درخت است. شجره. اصلها تسلیم. اصلش چیه؟ تسلیم و رضا. که شما that you are always, submissive to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you're always radhi with the reza of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're always content with the decree from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, there's so much conversation in this, that how we should believe in something and we should not let go of it. Quran points out, it says, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. You believe in part of the book, and then you don't believe in part of the book. فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. What do you think would be the jaza and the saza and the compensation of someone who believes in partially in this book, but who does not believe in the rest of the book? So you say, well, I believe in the half of the Quran, but I don't believe in the other half. Or go further, I believe in 90% of the Quran, but I don't believe in the 10% of the Quran. Allah says, فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ. What do you think is going to be the jaza of someone who does that? إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَى أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. So there's nothing that you can gain in this world, and of course in Qiyamah, you will be dealt with adhab, which is ashaddul adhab, which is the most severe type of azab. So that's the second. First is ma'rifat din. Dovam taslim kamil. Rajib in din. Number three, tarweej din wa taksir pehrawan din. There's a wrong notion these days. Kind of like what, Yahudi, Jews believe. That we don't need to spread the religion. We don't need to make more people, guide more people. We don't need to bring more to be Muslims. هو أنشأكم من الأرض واستعمركم فيها. Land is at our service. We are responsible to inhabit it. Water is one of the elements of our survival today. So therefore, don't waste it. Don't pollute it. That's as far as the resources that are available. Now, as far as the people that are available, when we have been bestowed with this deen, it's our duty now to go ahead and share it with others. Amir al-Mu'mineen said it, the difference between ilm and mal. What is the difference between ilm and mal? What is the difference between knowledge and wealth? Well, knowledge, when you spend it, it increases. But wealth, when you spend it, it decreases. There are again stories in this reference how there were people like As'ad ibn Zurareh, Mus'ab ibn Umair, who were the first in the early days of Islam who came from Medina. And then when they went back to Medina, which was known as Yathrib, they went and they mentioned and they prepared the ground for the Prophet's arrival. So these are the people who really did what? Tarweej Deen. And they made sure that there are enough followers when Prophet arrives. So you have Awal Marifat Deen. Then second, you have Taslim Kamil. Third, you have Tarweej Deen. Fourth, you have Difa as Deen. Wa Hifz Azamat Deen. That one of the duties is to protect this Deen. But if I don't have the marifat, If I don't believe in certain things, I believe only in few things, then how am I going to defend it? Because if my aqaid are not clear, if my understanding is not pure, then of course, how am I going to be able to defend something which I myself is unsure of? There was a story of a person by the name Ammar Duhni in the time of, most likely, you know, it was time of Banu Umayyah. There was a Qadi by the name Qadi Abu Layla. When gave testimony, Qadi denied it. He said, your testimony is denied because of two reasons. Yeki shoma Shia hastin, dovom shoma Rafizi. He cried. He said, Rafizi, man kuja Rafizi hastan. رافضی به کسانی میگفتند که در زمان حضرت موسی علیه السلام those who denied Fir'aun and believed in Musa علیه السلام, they were called Rafidi. And then you called me Shia. Man کجا و Shia کجا? Salman was Shia. Abu Zar was Shia. Meghdad was Shia. So you're comparing me with someone that I don't even belong in their category. This is how he believes that it is important to understand the concept of standing up and doing the difa, even when you are not that strong. Even when things are going against you, you have the ability to stand up and you have the ability to do what? Difa as Deen. You may have heard of the name of a person by the name Hassan ibn Yusuf Mutahhir. Yes, Allama Hilli. What did Allama Hilli do? Ba Sultan Khuda Bande, when he entered that mahfil, which was filled with the ulama and the followers of Ahl Sunnah, Allama Hilli goes in, and when he comes out, everyone had become follower of Maktabat Tashayyu. Everyone had embraced the madhab of Tashayyu. Everyone had become Shia after Allama Hilli left. What did he do? Did he have a magic wand like Hazrat Musa had the staff, that asa that he striked and everyone would convert? No. He did it through his difa because he was so sure about the knowledge that he had, the ilm that he possessed. And because of that, you can go ahead and read the entire story. I just wanted to hint towards that story so that you understand how ilm is important in order for you to progress. And lastly, after when you do the difa as in Deen, the next level of difa is mubarize ba tahrif hay dini wa munkarat. Because difa as Deen is probably from those who are non-Muslims, those who are associating lies with Islam. But mubarize bazi waqta ba kasani hast ki khudemuni hastan, those who are within this religion of ours, those who are creating false aqaid, those who are giving a bad name to our madhab, those who are, their intentions may be true, but because they are unaware, they lack knowledge, because they don't possess the real true ilm, they'll go ahead and make these mistakes. That's why Imam Hussain والسلام, when he said, do not be friend with 5 types of people. And one of them, he said, La tusahib, don't be, friend with someone who's ahmaq, someone who's, foolish. Why? There's a whole section in Usul Kafi, the first, volume, which begins with, about aql wa jahl. So Imam said, don't be friends with someone who's a foolish person. Why? Because of his foolishness. Even if he intends to do something good, he will end up doing what? He will end up causing more and more damage to you. So a lot of time people mean good, but they end up saying and doing things which are wrong. So it is important that we do mubaraze ba tahrif hay dini. There's so many things that have been entered into our madhab which have nothing to do with our madhab. Removal of the doubts is very important. Many people think that some of our self-created practices are part of Deen. No. These things are created by us. These false aqaid that some are representing from the platform of Tashayyu has to be denied and declined. Those who easily remove the negativity of sinning in society can make it look okay. You know how Shaitan presents in Gunah, این کار زشت رو در کادو برای شما میاره. آره؟ Brings it all wrapped up like a gift so that you go ahead and perform it. He does not want to present gunah as something which is ugly. He does not want to present gunah as something which is, you despise the moment you look at it. He wants to present this gunah as what? Something which you take right away. So therefore, mubarize ba munkarat is very important. That's why it says, Inna Allah Azza wa Jalla la yubghidu al-mu'min al-da'if alladhi la deena lahu. That indeed Allah despises, بغض داره از اون مؤمنی که ضعیف است. You say, well, which mu'min is ضعیف? So the kalam is to mu'min. میگه Inna Allah Azza wa Jalla la yubghidu al-mu'min al-da'if. Allah بغض داره از مؤمنی که ضعیف است. الذی لا دین له, the one who does not have any deen. فقیل له, he was asked, O Prophet, who's that person? ما المؤمن الذي لا دين له? Who's that mu'min who does not have deen? Why is he mu'min then if he doesn't have any deen? So these two are contradictory. Prophet said, no, he takes care of zahir deen. He prays, he fasts, he does all of those things. But قال الذي لا ينهى عن المنكر, the one who does not decline and do nahi anil munkar, the one who does not forbid that which is evil. Imam Hussain, perfect example. Yazid said, don't let Imam Sajjad speak. هذا من أهل بيت قد دقوا العلم دقا. Imam Hussain said, رضا برضاك وتسليما لأمرك لا معبود سواك. These are the words that we find in the kalam of Ma'sumin. Why do we see that so much mubaraza is being done? Tonight is Shaam Ghareeban. This is a very difficult night for Ahl Haram. This is the night, in shabi hast ke ta dishab hame wujud budan. Abbas bude, Hussein ham hast, Ali Akbar, جوانان هستند. حتی این اصحابی که امام با خودشون آورده همه هستند. ولی امشب هیچ کی نیست. تا دیشب بچه ها راحت میخوابیدند. تا دیشب زینب و ام کلثوم و فاطمه و سکینه همه راحت میخوابیدند. بچه ها اصلا فکرشون رو داشتن که مثلا کسی میتونه اذیتشون کنه. ولی امشب اینجوری نیست. یه دفعه وقتی امام حسین میره طرف مقتل و اون مبارزه‌ای که امام کرد، امروز حتما شما مصاحبه امام حسین رو شنیدی. امروز حتما شما شهادت امام حسین رو گوش دادید که چطور بود امام علیه السلام ودا کرد با این بچه ها، ودا کرد با این خانم ها. یه دفعه امام بیرون اومد، از خواهرش خواست که یه لباس کهنه براش بیاره. زینب سوال میکنه، مولا حسین شما چرا لباس کهنه نیاز داری؟ گفت زینب شما نمیدونی، فردا وقتی من میرم طرف مقتل اینا همه چیز از بدن من میگیرن. من میخوام حداقل یه لباسی داشته باشم که اگه اینا خواستن به اون لباس رغبت نداشته باشم، که لباس من حداقل اون کهنه رو جسمم باشه که جسمم یه دفعه اوریان نشه. اجرکم الله. چه مصیبتی هست که امام از قبل میدونه این چیزها رو. امام وقتی میاد بیرون یه دفعه به اسب با وفا میگه آخرین بار بهت میگم منو ببر طرف مقتل. ولی میبینه که این اسب با وفا اصلا حرکت نمیکنه. امام التماس میکنه، میگه من آخرین بار به تو میگم، حتی اینا هم نمیگم که ما رو برگردون، فقط ببر طرف مقتل. برگردن شما نیست. ولی این بی زبان که نمیتونه حرف بزنه سر خودش رو پایین میاندازه. وقتی سرش رو پایین انداخت، امام یه دفعه نگاه کرد، دید دختر امام با این اسب چسبیده. امام میاد پایین، این دخترش رو بر میداره، بلند میکنه، میگه دخترم مگه ما ودا نکردیم؟ مگه ما به تو نگفتیم دیگه امام داره میره، باباتون داره میره؟ میگه بابا میدونم، ولی من همیشه رو سینه تون میخوابیدم. امام میگه امشب این قرار شد، از این پس شما رو سینه مادرتون میخوابید، از این پس علی اصغر رو سینه باباتون میخوابه. امام میره طرف مقتل و سخنرانی میکنه، رجز میخونه. یه دفعه این مردم میبینن که حسین رو نمیشه یکی یکی جنگ کرد، همه از همه جانب امام رو میگیرن، هر کی داره میاندازه. امام صدای آسمانی رو میشنوه کی میگه یا ایتها النفس المطمئنه ارجعی الی ربک راضیه مرضیه. امام این صدا رو میشنوه، امام میگه انا لله و انا الیه راجعون رضا بقضائه و تسلیما لامره. امام شمشیر خودش رو میاندازه، اینا از همه جانب بر امام میتازند، هرچی داره میتازه به طرف امام پرت میکنه. اگه تیر داشتن تیر میانداختن، اگه شمشیر داشتن شمشیر میانداختن، گرز داشتن اونو میانداختن، اگه کسی چیزی نداشت همین سنگ ها رو پرت میکردن طرف امام، تا اینکه امام از اسب خودش اومد پایین. این دفعه که امام اومد پایین به اسب خودش گفته اینجا جای مقتل من نیست، یه خورده جلوتر منو ببر، اون جایی که مادرم دیشب اومد اونجا رو جارو کشید تا اینکه من بیام اونجا و من اونجا استراحت کنم. یه دفعه زینب که همه این منظرها رو میدید، که یه دفعه میبینه که حسین اصلا پیدا نیست، زینب میاد رو تله زینبیه، یه جای بلندی بود، از اونجا نگاه میکرد دید شمر بر سینه حسین نشسته، از پشت داره حسین رو سرش رو جدا میکنه. زینب از دور صدا میکنه میگه ای شمر بر برادرم راحت این تیر اینجوری این the sword this that you have in your hands راحت باش، چون برادرم 3 روزه چیزی نخورده و 3 روزه اصلا تشنه است. یه دفعه زینب هیچی نمیبینه، میاد طرف امام زین العابدین میگه ای پسرم من باباتون نمیبینم. جناب امام زین العابدین امام سجاد میگه عمه جون این پرده رو بکشید کنار. یه دفعه پرده رو که میکشن کنار میبینه سر امام حسین رو نیزه بلند شده، میگه السلام علیک یا ابا عبدالله، السلام علیک یا ابن رسول الله. امام حسین کشته شد. یه دفعه شام غریبا اومد، چی میخوان بکنن وقتی امام کشته شد؟ اینا اومدن بر این خیمه ها آتش زدن، هرچه بود با خودشون بردن. یه دفعه راوی میگه من میدیدم یه خانمی هست میره توی خیمه میره که آتش روش داره، میاد بیرون دوباره میره داخل. بهش گفتم شما چیزی داری داخل، چیزی که مثلا شما خیلی اطمینان روش هست، چیزی که مثلا خیلی هم براتون عزیز هست. جناب زینب میگه همه چیزو از ما بردن، فقط تنها چیزی که مونده این پسر من هست، این زین العابدین که امام ما است و حجت ما است. امام جناب زینب میگه ای سجاد بگو ما چیکار کنیم، بریم بیرون یه داخل خیمه بمونیم چون اینا همه رو آتش زدن؟ امام سجاد میگه جناب زینب شما که عالمه هستی، عالمه غیر معلمه هستی، شما بهتر از من میدونیم، نباید خودمون رو به هلاکت برسونین. میگه ای پسرم نگاه کن اصلا رو سرم چیزی نیست، اینا از ما همه چیزو گرفتن، اینجوری بریم بیرون. اجرکم الله. آخرین روایت و من تمام میکنم انشاءالله. یه دفعه شام غریبا اومد، زینب دید بچه ها مثل دونه های تسبیح پراکنده شدن. زینب دنبال بچه ها میگشت، میگه یه 4 ساله طرف نجف میرفت، میپرسیدن کجا داریم؟ میگی این امام باخرمون هست. میگفت من میرم طرف نجف به امیر المؤمنین شکایت کنم که ای مولا بیاد ببینید چی گذشت بر ما. اون بچه رو واپس پس میارن. یه دفعه زینب همه بچه رو جمع کرد، اون دختر حسین نیست، اون دختری که حسین برایش یه گزارشی داده بود نیست. یه دفعه زینب بلند میشه، دنبال دختر میگشت، یه دفعه صداش میکرد، دید یه جا اون دختر خوابیده. زینب اون دختر رو بر میداره، میگه دخترم اینجا چطور اومدی؟ گفت وقتی که اینا آتش میزدن من اومدم اینوار میگفتم بابا کجا هستین؟ بابا کجایی تو؟ یه دفعه دیدم دو تا دست بلند شدند، من اومدم دنبال این جسمی که مثلا سر نداره من چطور شناختم؟ این بابا یه دفعه دستات رو بلند کردم. اجرکم الله. May Allah give you no grief. این دفعه زینب این دختر رو جمع کرد، همه بچه رو جمع کرد. آخرین چیز انشالله تموم میکنم. یه دفعه دید همه نشستن، آب رو فرستادن. این بچه ها دیگه برای آب چیکار دارن؟ آبی نمیخواستن، اینا برای آب منتظر بودن، ولی آب رو آوردن. دشمن میدونه دیگه اینا مشکلشون تمام شده، حل شده. الان دیگه آب فرستادن اشکال نداره. آب رو که فرستادن، زینب یه دفعه میاد این آب رو میده به رقیه جون، میگه بیا دخترم این آب رو بخور. گفت عمه جون شما اول بخوری، شما تشنه تر از منی. میگه نه، اول به بچه ها آب میدن. فقط همینو که شنید یه دفعه رفت طرف مقتل، گفت دخترم کجا داری میری؟ میگی شما مگه نگفتی اول آب رو به بچه ها میدن؟ برادرم علی اصغر عبدالله رضی از این جهان رفت و اون تشنه تر از همه بود. علی لعنت الله القوم الظالمین. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. May I pray about tonight.
یعنی به تو رسیدن، یعنی نفس کشیدن تو خاک سرزمینه، یعنی تموم سالو همیشه بیقرارم.